Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you on the other side. Welcome to the second episode in the customer experience edition of the XT podcast. Today, we are diving deep into a topic that is often misunderstood and grossly underestimated: how to map a customer experience program to measurable business outcomes. Essentially, how to drive quantified ROI through a CX program. In fact, I will be showing you how, through a structured approach, I managed to drive 2.96 million pesos in ROI for an insurer based out of Philippines within just 7 months of implementing a CX transformation program. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. What exactly is customer experience? I know, probably a simple question to ask, but it's very important. The most commonly known definition is that CX is the sum total of perceptions customers have across their journey with a brand or company, right? Sure, that's accurate. But it's about as useful as a GPS solution that tells you that you are in the wrong place. Well, you would instead need a proper Google map that tells not only where you are, but also which is the quickest route to your destination, isn't it? That is why I felt the need to, and I crafted a more actionable definition for CX. CX, according to me, is articulating and communicating the right brand promises to the right customers and meeting these brand promises at the right touch points across the journey to create right, perceived, differentiated value. Sounds fancy, right? But it's crucial. And every word has been carefully chosen because it shifts the focus from just measuring to actually actioning and enhancing the customer experience. And it is important to note that CX is fundamentally pivoted around brand promise. Consider a no frills airline. This is an example I often quote in my workshops and trainings. Their business model doesn't allow them to offer excess baggage, seat preferences, or meals without charging for them. Does this mean they can't deliver a great customer experience? Not at all. Their brand promise is simple: getting you from point A to point B at the lowest cost and on time. As long as they fulfill this promise, you would perceive a positive experience, wouldn't you? This shows that as long as the brand promise is clear, is clearly communicated, and consistently met, the experience is deemed successful, regardless of the frills. This is where my CX transformation framework comes into picture. This framework helps me connect my client's brand promise to measurable business outcomes and thereby craft a CX roadmap that connects the two. For instance, when working with this Philippines based insurance company, as step one, I first deep dived with them on their brand promise and understood that they are positioning themselves as a digital first, minimum touch, hassle free insurer. I then translated this brand promise into a customer promise statement. This is basically a customer point of view on their brand promise articulated in the customer's voice. For example, in my client's case, I articulated it as following: each of my interactions as a customer with the insurer, from understanding policies to getting quotes and filling claims, will be as seamless, hassle free, and as digital as possible. Getting a customer's voice helps map the expected perceptions we want to build in the market. It further helps craft individual functional promises as well. For example, for marketing, the promise was that prospects visiting the website of the insurer could easily identify suitable policies, get a quick premium estimate, and submit a quote request without any headaches. If marketing meets those promises, they can drive key metrics like a high visit to quote request ratio and a low drop off rate, and so on. To deliver these promises, marketing team would need certain assets or tools like very good persona risk product preferences mapping, premium calculator, a risk assessment tool, a user-friendly website, great UX, UI, etc. With these tools and assets, the marketing team can then ensure that the marketing promise is met, leading to improved marketing KPIs. Basically, if your marketing team is doing their job right, you won't need a detective to figure out why customers are abandoning your site faster than a sinking ship. Similarly, the mapping can then be worked out for sales, customer service, operations, delivery, underwriting, or any other such function. For sales, tools like a quick quote generator and policy status tracker can help improve metrics like bind rates, conversion rates, and reduce quote turnaround times. For customer service function, optimizing the claims process and having a robust customer 360-degree view for services, support, personnel can help improve retention rates and decrease claims turnaround times. The biggest value that this framework offers is that now, as a CX leader, you can approach any functional peer, be it a sales leader, marketing leader, etc., speak their language, focus on their KPIs that matter to them, not just CX metrics like NPS or CSAT, which they care damn about, and get their buy-in for the CX program. CX is a cross-functional strategic initiative. And without other functions collaborating, sharing data and input, and acting on your insights, no outcomes can be achieved, right? Now comes the fun part, proving the ROI potential. You still need the budget approvals from the CEO, the CFO, and so on, right? So once I work out the transformation framework with the cross-functional leadership, I then seek inputs from them about the top few metrics that they want transformed. What are their challenges? What are their constraints? Which are the metrics they seem to be troubled about? For example, in the case of Philippines-based Insurer, the priority metrics that they chose was drop-off rate. Number of people who visited their website and left without engaging further was quite high as per their assessment. Once priority metrics are finalized for focused transformation, then we can quickly gather the as-is values for a quick ROI approximation and a before and after evaluation. Sometimes it is important to break down key metrics into child metrics. For example, in the case of the Philippines-based Insurer, I had to break down the drop-off rate into 3 child metrics: quotations submitted to quote requests, policy applications to quotations submitted, and policies issued to policy applications. You would have now realized that this breakdown tracks the touchpoints across the customer journey and thereby helps track improvements that are needed across the touchpoints in the customer journey. And then comes a lot of hard work to work with the IT team, the data and infrastructure team, the reporting teams, and several other functional departments to get the data around the as-is values for these metrics, as well as some monetization metrics that help formulate a financial value of percentage deviation in these very metrics. For example, the average policy value and number of quote requests per annum were the monetization metrics that we finalized for the Philippines-based Insurer. In the case that I'm referring to, these values help me show that a 6% decrease in drop-off rate can yield a 4.5 million peso increase in policy revenue, which helped the CEO and the CFO approve the budget for the transformation exercise. A 10x return potential was an easy sell. Now comes the most crucial aspect of the program, execution. I always recommend a 3-phase approach here: crawl, walk, run, which closely maps to the listen, interpret, and act cycle of a standard CXM program, starting with an end of journey or a relationship feedback where we identify where all, or specifically in which all touch points across the customer journey are customers challenged or inconvenienced. Specifically, where all the promise is not met as expected. Mind you, we are not yet deep diving on what these problems are, but are seeking inputs from those who didn't drop off about what problems they encountered, which may have made them drop off in the first place. And more importantly, in which all touch points to begin with. Once we know the touch points, in the second phase, we run touch point specific surveys to find out critical pain points. This is exactly where we deep dive on what these problems are. We do intense analysis and generate actionable insights to execute specific corrective actions in the third phase, and then run a closed loop end of journey feedback again to check if the actions helped resolve the concerns and improve the experience. These three phases can now be iteratively executed in cycles until the overall end of journey experience shows considerable improvement. Over 6 to 8 months in the case of the Philippines-based insurer, we got several insights around critical gaps, leading us to build and deploy UX UI changes, content enhancements, risk assessment and policy recommendations tool, quick quote generator, policy status tracker, etc. All of which led to decreasing the drop-off rate from 61.8% to 57.6%, driving 2.96 million pesos in ROI. Not too far from the approximation we started with. Who knew listening to your customers and making incremental improvements could actually pay off? Shocking, right? So there you have it. A strategic approach to CX that's all about driving business outcomes. Most CX programs fail to be strategic because of three major concerns, constraints, or challenges. First, inability to quantify ROI potential. Second, inability to get cross-functional leadership buy-in. And third, inability to craft a clear CX roadmap that maps to specific business outcomes. My approach, the one that I just showcased, addresses all these concerns at once and will help your CX program go beyond collecting CX scores and feedback. And instead, it will help your CX program be focused on meaningful changes that resonate with your customers and boosts your top and bottom line. Ultimately, good CX is not about great NPS and CSAT scores, but instead it's about great acquisitions, retentions, expansions, and referrals, isn't it? Please comment on the video if you have any follow-up questions on the framework. I will surely respond to all the questions and queries that I get. Also, please let me know if you found this useful. And if you did, then please like, share, and subscribe. Remember, transforming experiences isn't just about changing the game. It's about creating a whole new one. Stay curious, stay innovative, and until next time, keep those transformations rolling. Thank you. Namaste.